everybody. So before I start today's video, I have a disclaimer. Hello, friends. So for 40 years, I have been saying a word wrong. It's not a bad word. It's not a derogatory remark. I've just been saying the word wrong, and that word is MIDI. So because of that, I thought I'd make this disclaimer. Because I've been saying it for 40 years, I will probably say it a few times in this video as I used to. I'm trying not to do that. So just let this be known. And so if I do happen to slip up and say it, you don't need to make a comment about it. I've already done that. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about my mishaps and my problems and my issues. Me trying to learn MIDI. MIDI. I don't want to get it wrong because everybody's going to get mad at me. So let's take it from the top. So the reason why I'm doing this is I'm trying to learn how to use MIDI on the 2488. I find I've done a little bit of research on all the different Tascams that I own. Now, granted, only two of them truly work with MIDI straight out. So I'm working on that. The 788, it looks like all it is really, it's more of a, not a sequencer, it's more or less just a timer, and that it's just start, stop. It'll run whatever you want, but you gotta have a sequencer in between it to take care of everything else. So let's not worry about that. So the 2488, you have the ability to actually take a mid file and copy it onto the system and use it. So that's what I'm doing here. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, let's just talk about where I'm at so far in this mess. And let me tell you, it's a mess in here. So let's start off with my history of MIDI. Okay, back when I started playing music, actually back when I started recording music, I decided to go from using, I had a Pentium, not a Pentium, I had an Intel 486 SX laptop. That was what I used because I didn't need a full-size computer at the time, because I had other computers that I was using. I was still in my Commodore 64. I had an Atari ST. Those were my main computers. They were taking up most of my space. And then I decided to get because I was in college at this time, I decided to get a laptop. So I got a laptop so that I could do homework on my laptop that mattered for school. And that being said, and then so after a while, I decided, you know what? I got my 464, and I thought, you know what? Let's get into MIDI. Let's get into computer sounds. So I went and I had a friend of mine. He built computers, and I had him build me a Pentium computer with it had to have a Sound Blaster 16 on it. The reason I had to have that was because I went out and I bought at the local music store. I bought a Roland sound card, which you piggybacked onto your Sound Blaster, and then what that did was that gave you all the Roland sounds at the time, and it gave you that, and then you could then use that to get extra sounds. So like when I would play a video game, excuse me, if the video game used MIDI, it would then show that. It would then use those sounds as opposed to just the regular beep 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 beep. So I didn't get the beeps. I got like synths, and I got like sampled sounds, and that. It was really nice. It was really great. So that was the reason why I wanted, because of that, I wanted to use it on recordings, and that it was going to actually replace my TR-707 as our drummer, because I could use a more realistic drum sound on it. But that's another story. I'm not going to worry about that. So that being said, And then I went out and I thought, you know what, let's try this MIDI thing out. So I bought a cable, I bought an adapter, I bought cables, so I got the proper MIDI cables. So I had that, and then I had a keyboard similar to, let me show you over here. Let's just go. I had a keyboard similar to this one. This is my dad's Casio. I had a similar one. It was great. We're actually going to use this today. That's part of this. So I had a similar keyboard to this, and I was like, okay. And I played around with it, and I actually had my TR-707 hooked up as well. So I had both of them going at the same time, and it was kind of neat because, you know, I'd never played around with this stuff, and I thought, well, that's kind of neat. So then I had that going on, and that's pretty much where everything ended. That was it. And then I just didn't care anymore about it. I was happy. So I decided to make myself miserable again. So what's going on here? Let's talk about where I'm at the moment. So now the first thing that I need to do when I do something is I need to make a file or some kind of scratch track that I can work with. In this case, since I'm doing straight MIDI, I decided to make a file, and I called it Goofing with MIDI, and I wrote it in MuseScore. So here's my MuseScore track. I'll play it to you in a sec. Pretty straightforward. It's four instruments: voice, Hammond organ, electric bass, and drum kit. Now if I play it, let's just start from the beginning. You can hear. So I have repeats in there and everything just to do it. I just wanted something to play with, something to try, see what I could do. So I did that. The nice thing about MuseScore is you go to File, Export. You can change it from PDF to MIDI file, and then it will and it says main score. So you can tell it to just send this. That's all I care about is this. But I wanted it for the main score. Export it, made a file. That's what I did. So the reason I did that was I wanted to try it on the Tascam 2488. So that was first. We're not going to worry about this right now. This is second. So the next thing I did was I went, oh, cool. So I went and I took that file and I put it on my 2488, and I set it as my mid file for that section, And now the nice thing about the 2488 is it has general MIDI. It comes with it. So you have these sounds in there that are known as this is what we would use for certain things. Now they're not great. You know, they're 2007. I think they're probably even older than that, because this would have been, you know, they who knows how long this was in production being created. The sounds they're old. Okay? So we know that. And that wasn't my whole goal. My goal was to get it on here first and then try it on other machines. So that's the whole concept of this video. That's what we're doing. So, all right. So what I did was I loaded it up on here. You're able to edit. You're able to change things on the system. I'll play. Actually, let me just play. This is what it sound like. This one does not have the drums on it because I did not do the drums yet. I added them later because I was playing around with it. So if I play this. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can live with that. But I thought, you know what? I want to try other things. So now I have not, that's all I did with the 2488 so far. I have not gone any further. And the reason I didn't go any further was because I wanted to play with the sounds a bit. I wanted to see, because after I figured out that I can change the sounds while it's playing, but as soon as it goes back to play it again, it reverts back to what's on the file. So it doesn't go in and edit the file that it has. It just more or less reads the file, even though you've changed them. So I'm changing it while it's playing, but because, you know, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to do that. So that became difficult. So now that was what I was at. So I was like, all right, so let's try this then. So because I didn't care for the let's go here. I didn't care for the sound of channel 0, because channel 0 is this one right here, which is the do 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 do. So it's the main riff, and it was originally set. I'll switch it back because I was playing with this, but it was set to, I can't even find it. It was like a piano, but it didn't sound good. I think it was the drawbar organ is what it was set to. So now if I play it on here, yeah, you're not going to be able to hear it because it's going to come through that one over there, and that's not a drawbar organ. Although it is now a drawbar organ, because as soon as I do this, it'll change to that. But so that was my problem. I could not get it to go. I could not. I'm like, because I'm reading. I'm like, why? I went through the manual. I went through the extra documentation I have. Why can't I change it? And then it said, oh, it's because it reads from the file. So as soon as you change it, it reads from the file. So what I wanted to do was I want to be able to change it, but I want to be able to hear what I'm going to end up with at the end. So I went out, I went and I grabbed my USB, I have a USB to MIDI cable, grabbed that, plugged it into I'll show you, into the Korg behind me there, the Korg, that's a tritone LE. And yeah, at some point I have to sit down and actually learn about that machine, because that thing is loaded with stuff, and I have not even touched the surface on it. So I did that, and then I ended up having it set to, I'll show you here. So I had it set to A. I did not have ARP on. I'm not even sure if it's going to play. Let's see. Okay, it's not playing. So I just turned it on, I plugged it in, I thought, okay, it should take care of itself. So I start playing my file. Let's go start from the beginning again. And I start playing my file. So. So, because just a second. So, because the system is so complex, I was like, all right, what just happened? Why am I getting that? And it's because the ARP system, when you have it set when you have it in a combination mode, it will play other things. And it gets cool. Like, it can be cool. If you listen to if you listen to the video I made a while back, what I did was I played with the channel on here. I went and I changed the instruments, and I just picked I went and I found that, and all of a sudden it's like all trippy, and I'm like, oh, I got to record that. So that's that's where that came from. So, like I said, I'm learning this. So now what I realized is, let me go and show you. See over here, you have the program banks, and at the very end is general MIDI. So now I go here, I change this to prog, PRG, and it's now on general MIDI. Now if I can still switch between here. I'll show you this. Let me start the song up again. Let me just start it up. I'm gonna put this way so you can see what I'm gonna do. So I have to share this because this is just absolutely amazing. So here we go. Okay, that's A, B. There's C. And then general. And that's the organ. So now, if I pick, like, let's pick B, and then I hit ARP. It's hard for you to hear it, but I'll switch to C. That's with ARP. That's B with ARP on. Now if I stop it, all right, dumb me, I stopped the wrong recording, but here, I stopped it. And if I start over again, go back, start again, pause it. Oh, pause stops it. Oh, that stops too. Okay, I don't know why it worked that time, because it wasn't before, it would just keep going. So, that's what I learned. Okay. now we're gonna go down to let's look at this thing. So this, I just got this because I realized, okay, so this will only do, it should do more. It probably does. I have to work on that. This here. So what I needed to do is I need to figure out a way of getting that to other devices. So I have other devices sitting here. I have my Dr. Rhythm, the DR3 is hooked up. I have that Casio hooked up, and then I have that hooked up. That's the main guy. So that luckily has a through port, but the through port on that doesn't work. That's the only one that has a through port. So I can only have two devices hooked up. Well, I want more because I want all three. So I went out and I bought this little bugger here. Let me show you. This little guy. So I bought this. This is a MIDI Solutions Quattro through. It's made in Canada, so it takes the in from the one and it splits it. Now, right now I have it on two. I tried hooking this up directly to the computer. It didn't like it. Maybe it's not enough power. I don't know. Either way, it didn't like it. So this is running currently through the Triton into the system so I could run the other two. So the other two are plugged in through this. So beautiful. Now I was only playing you the one. I'm going to leave it where it is. So let's see if I start over. It's not going to go into AB, is it? No, now switch to the drum board. Did I switch it? I must put on general MIDI. Okay, we're going to leave it on general MIDI over there. MIDI. Let's bring in my friend, the keyboard over here. Let's switch. So now, the problem I'm having here is now I'm going to switch. I'm going to put it on the keyboard, the Casio. So we are now over there. You can't see it there. Okay. I'm just going to play that. Everything is done through here. I'm just muting channels and unmuting channels. That's all I'm doing at the moment. So everybody's hooked up, and at some point I'm going to play all together. So let's start again. So here we go. Now see, it plays everything. I don't like the voices, but it's playing everything. Now if I bring this in, so now it's playing the single part over there. So we can change it. So now the other thing is it's playing it's playing the drum parts too, which is fine. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to do some heavy searching and see if I can change so that each one is playing their own part so I can record them. Otherwise, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to record them separately I'm gonna have to create many different MIDI files, put it on the system, record that part, go to the next one, record that part, go to the next one, record that part. So that being said, so now if I go and I'll show you the drums are also hooked up here. Let's go. So now we got our little buddy here. What I love about this is this guy doesn't care. I set him to where what drum set I want. He does not change. So now if I go and I start at the beginning. Now, he's playing bass. But if I go and now on this one I can change, I can turn off the bass. That's not bad. Not bad. So, so as you can see, this is where I'm at right now with everything. It is. I'm gonna mute all these things. It is a mess. It is a mess, but I'm having fun, and that's the most important part. So as I keep on my journey with this system and trying different things, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody if you watch this to this point, because it's crazy. But like I said, I'm having fun with it, so that's the main part. So I'm gonna end it here, and I'm gonna say thank you very much, and I'm gonna talk to you all later. Bye.